Welcome to Dave's DIY. Today, I am like beside myself with excitement. I'm having to work really hard to keep it contained so I can stay focused. Because I know everyone tells me that I need to stay focused, I need to keep talking and start thinking ahead of time about what I'm going to talk about. So I'm excited. What I've actually got to talk about is a camera mount, an overhead camera mount. And I've already started putting it together. I got too excited, I forgot to turn my camera on, and I wanted to pause, take it back, put it on my workbench, and discuss this for just a minute, because a lot of people that I've talked to have wanted an overhead camera mount so they could record whatever it is they're recording. You can buy a camera phone mount. If you, one moment. Oh no, I said it, didn't I? I said it. I knew that was gonna happen. Okay. So you can buy these camera holders for your phone, right? And this works as well. You can plug it on here, and you can, of course, mount your camera straight on. Now what this is a mount that came off of one of these little handheld gimbals. It's no longer in use. It went to a video camera that was supposedly a 1080 or 4K. It was a 4K camera. It was not a 4K camera. But anyway, I decided to repurpose the mount. You can buy the bolts that fit on a camera. I'm not readily sure what it is. I'll Google it at a later time. But for now, I have one on hand. I also have a little washer to give it some space, because the thickness of this aluminum mount is ever so slightly too long. Okay, not bad at all. I bought some washers. Now, the overhead camera mount, if you were to go to Amazon, which is it's a guilty place to go shop to a lot of times, I'm sure, you'll find that an overhead camera mount is going to cost $129 to $199 and up, and you won't get a very big one, not at all. I mean, it'll work, and if you're not a DIY person, I'm sure that they will sell one that works for you. But if you're like me and you're on a really tight budget and you're not able to just go buy one of these, I found a store. They sent me, I'll hold that up so you can see it. It's OpenBuild. I'm not sure if it's in focus. If it's not, I apologize. I'll keep a bag nearby so I can show that to you. They're actually a really cool company. I was looking through the parts they've got. They cover everything from CNC to just general pieces like this extruded aluminum rail. And because I work with a 3D printer, I know how easy it is to use these T-nuts. And the T-nut is a little literal T that fits down inside of this V-rail. And when you tighten it, it rotates and grabs. Makes it real good for quick assembly and disassembly. Well, they have it at a reasonable price and they ship fast. These did not take that long to get here. It took 3 days. From the time I ordered it to the time it got here may have been a little bit longer, but from the time they shipped this out to the time it got to my door only took 3 days. And on top of that, I was nervous that this longer piece, this is 1500 millimeters or 1.5 meters. I was worried that it was going to look like a banana when it got here. This was wrapped with these two side pieces on either side of this rail in a sandwich, and heavily wrapped. And when I say heavily wrapped, even with a pocket knife that's relatively sharp, it took me a hot minute to get inside of that. I'm proud of that. So thank you, OpenBuild, for really, that I feel confident in my future buys, that I know that it's not going to get bent on the way. And it went via FedEx. So anyway, onto the build portion. I over-engineered this. I did buy way bigger parts than necessary for one reason. I may eventually need a bigger camera stand, and I don't plan on cutting it down to length. I did draw a bar so that you could see that this is only how much I needed. This is a 1 meter length. You might want to get something smaller for your purpose, but I wanted to go on and it's only, I want to say $15 is what I paid for this great big rod. The overall project, if I built both legs, vertical pieces, the horizontal feet, the overhead piece, and a T-piece specifically to mount my camera, I only paid maybe $80, maybe $85 shipped. And I'd have to go verify that, but it was well cheaper than buying one already made, and it's bigger by a lot. And the only thing I've got to do to build it, again, I've already I got ahead of myself and did assemble it. Maybe it goes this way. It goes that way. And you take these, I bought a T-piece, and I didn't buy enough T nuts, my fault. But I bought a T-mounted plate, and then that goes down into the V-track. You just give it a little bit of a tighten, and that's on. Now, the next piece is a vertical rail, and my camera and everything's gonna have a hard time capturing all of it. We'll do what we can. We'll mount that in, and now we have a vertical leg, and I don't want it too tight because I actually want to slide this back. Did I tighten that? I did tighten that. We'll slide that back, and it's obviously not going to be exact where I had it before because I had it lined up, but we're going to do our best. And the reason I'm doing this video in one take is because I want you to be able to see just how easy it is to build with these parts. And I'm not sponsored by OpenBuild, just so you know. They're not paying me to dote on them and brag about their store. I'm just really thrilled that I was able to find their store and that they sell these parts at such a reasonable price, because I'm a DIY person and I don't have a lot of money. I actually don't have any money, but you know, whatever. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna let it rest on top of my shelf. And the reason for that, resting it on top of my shelf, is because I want it to be the exact height of my shelf. Pardon me. Oh. It's easier to build when you're not doing this for YouTube. How about that? So if you're building at home, just ignore how clumsy I look and you will be fine. All right, so we want to level it out. I didn't get it level. How about that? So you just loosen those up a little bit, push it till it sits level, and tighten it back down. I'm gonna move my mic out of the way. It might be a little hard to hear me for just a moment. And now, at this point, what I'm gonna do is I've got this T-piece. This is gonna act as my camera mount, and it goes on that side because when I go into my camera, the camera will be on this side, which gives you a face down view of what I'm seeing. So this will then go here on this back side. I'm gonna leave a link to these pieces that I used to build this stand in the description below. And that way, if you want to build your very own camera mount off of this design, you are more than welcome to it. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge design, but now we get to test it. So I'm gonna spin you around and make some noise. It's gonna be a little disconcerting for a second. All right. you are following me, and we are on a 10-minute build already. 10 minutes and 10 seconds. So now we tighten this bolt down, and ta-da, we now have, welcome to Dave's DIY, welcome to the workbench. And today what we have for you is a gentle ASMR and hands just waving around. The company name that I did mention before is called OpenBuilds. I can't get it to focus. That's aggravating. Let me get a, I'll tell you what. They sent me one of these. OpenBuilds. Dadgummit. OpenBuilds. The pieces that I used to build this overhead camera mount that you are now looking at, and which I could zoom in really close. Ta-da. This was built for about $80 from, the store is OpenBuilds Part Store, but I'm going to link all that in the description. So until next time, I will see you later.